This is K1DBC. All stations, please stand by. The Denver Radio Club Learning Net starts in 5 minutes.
W0TX repeater.
Hello, everyone. Watching on here. Good evening. We'll watch a few minutes of a pretty cool podcast here this week in Radio Tech professional broadcast engineers. And this is episode 709, Satellite Network Operations with Marcus O'Rourke. He works here in Colorado. So watch a few minutes of that. We'll start the net here.
Sure. Ooh. So short history. This was NSN here in Denver, which then was purchased by Clear Channel, which then was purchased by Orbital Media, which then we purchased. So that's kind of where the little chain of custody, chain of whatever it is, the company. So it's been in this facility since about 2007, and it was built by AT&T. They had this grand scheme of, we're going to put all these different COs all over the outskirts of Denver, and there's going to be this huge boom of T1s and whatnot. And they built it, they put everything in, and then around 2004 or 5, they kind of went, I guess we don't really need it. And then it sat. And then Clear Channel came in and went, oh, hey, we'll take it over, and kind of made some changes, built this little network operations center here. And it's been quite the adventure going through it. I mean, just for me in the last 2 years, and then the last almost 20 years with previous companies. So so this is our network operations center. It's manned 24/7, just like a radio studio in big, if you have a 24-hour station. There's always somebody in there. We're always going to answer the phone. And that's been something that, as we've brought on some customers that have come from other places, they're like, oh, you answered the phone. Oh, I was not expecting you to answer. So we make sure that our operators are trained. We always have training going on for them. But from here, we can see all of the stuff that we are uplinking by satellite here in Denver at the facility. We're able to monitor incoming audio feeds for, we have some sports customers, we have some talk show customers, we have some full form networks that come through as well. So we monitor all the audio feeds that come in as they go out, and then even as they come over the satellite, or we use the XDS system as our primary distribution platform. It also does streaming, so we'll listen to the streaming side of it as well. So we're able to do route changes, monitor audio with meters, with actually turning up speakers. We're able to see spectrum analyzers of stuff that we uplink. LinkUp also has customers that do their own uplinking at their own facility, whether it's Tennessee or California or New York or wherever it ends up being. We're able to bring their carriers up as well on the spectrum analyzers. You can kind of see there's those two little green screens on this.
This is K1DBC. All stations, please stand by. The DRC Learning Net will start in 1 minute.
The middle center of that console there. So we can patch into different downlinks, dishes that we have, look at their carrier and go, yep, you're on the air. Or, yeah, I don't see your carrier. Do you have power?
Something I've wanted to ask, and I think you really just answered it before I asked the question. Of course, you receive plenty of audio feeds from your customers via various codecs of different brands. You already mentioned, Comrex and Tyline and some things from Telos. But you also receive programming via satellite yourself for redistribution on your satellite network.
All right, so thanks for watching a few minutes there. This was the Satellite Network Operations with Marcus O'Rourke, based in Denver here. Just a few minutes. This is an hour-long podcast this week in Radio Tech, professional broadcast engineers. So check out their YouTube channel. A lot of really cool stuff there. Hello and welcome back to the Denver Radio Club Net for September 4th, 2024. Great place to learn about ham radio and STEM topics in general, and thankfully we have plenty of combined experience and expertise. This is Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie. My name is Daron, and I'm Net Control this evening. I want to thank Jim and ZRTRP, as always, for taking the net during the when our club has a board meeting, which is the fourth Wednesdays of the month. So it looks like you all had a little bit of a check-in, some follow-up there, maybe some logbook of the world questions, success with NFED half waves. So pretty cool follow-up there. Again, y'all, we taking your comments, questions, check-ins, and more this evening. We meet every Wednesday except the third Wednesday of the month, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time. On 145.490 and 448.625. You can contact us via email, elmer@w0tx.org, and we're on most social media at Denver Radio Club. That's also to include youtube.com/Denver Radio Club. So if you'd like to see behind the scenes of the net or visual context, that is an additional way to view or participate in the net. This net can be broken at any time for emergency or priority traffic by using the word break. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time? All check-ins to the net will be taken in alphabetical groups based on the first letter of the suffix of the operator's call sign. That is the first letter after the number in the call sign. If you can, please try to use ITU phonetics at least for your call sign and indicate if you have any traffic or questions as you check in. You can follow along with check-ins. w0tx.org/check-in. With that, if your call suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please check in now.
This is Kilo Mike 4, Charlie Foxtrot Tango, and listening. Jonathan in Highlands Ranch, just listening.
This is Kilo Echo Zero Alpha Bravo, Cannon Lakewood, no traffic.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Hold up there for a moment. I'd like to welcome knowledge the following check-ins: KM4 CFT Jonathan and Kilo Echo Zero Alpha Bravo Ken. Thank you both so much for checking in. Again, if your call suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please call now.
Kilo Foxtrot Zero, Foxtrot Papa India, Ron in Lakewood, no traffic.
WD0 CIV, WD0 CIV, Charles in Denver, no traffic.
All right, and that time we had KF0 FPI Ron and WD0 CIV Charles. Thank you both so much for checking in.
W0TX repeater.
All right, we'll go ahead and open up the whole alphabet. We're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. Let us know your call sign, your name, and if you have any traffic or questions for this evening's Learning Net, please call now.
November 6, Whiskey Hotel Victor, Dick in Arvada, with no traffic.
Kilo Echo Zero, Sierra Uniform Mike, Jonathan, Lakewood.
Alpha Echo Zero, Yankee Romeo, Ed in Arvada with traffic.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I think we had a double just at the end there. With that, though, Net Control would like to welcome and acknowledge the following check-ins. N6WHV, Dick, KE0SUM, Jonathan, and AE0YR, Ed, with traffic. Thank you so much for checking in here. So if you did try to call in, I didn't call your call sign. Please try once more.
Alpha Bravo 8 Whiskey November. This is Pete in Arvada. No traffic.
November 0, Tango Romeo Papa, Jim in Lakewood. Good evening.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I got you in there that time, Pete, AB8WN. Thank you so much for checking in. And N0TRP Jim, got you checked in as well. Again, we'll open up the whole alphabet. Again, we're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. Let us know your call sign, your name, and if you have any traffic or questions, please call now. All right, one more call. This is about an hour-long session, just a general Q&A about ham radio and STEM topics. So if you have any projects you're working on or questions that you have, we certainly have some things brought up. I think Ed checked in with traffic. We'll get back to you here, Ed, in a minute. But at the moment, any other check-ins, please call now.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Quebec, Victor, Dave Evergreen checking in.
All right, and that time we had KF0, QQV. Dave, thank you so much for checking in. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Just a quick reminder, if you haven't been watching our YouTube this evening, I played a quick 5 minutes just before the net of a really cool podcast that's not very well known called This Week in Radio Tech. They started out on twit.tv where Bob Heil has Ham Nation are on there, but these guys ended up splitting up. But This Week in Radio Tech, podcast of professional broadcast radio engineers. So really cool stuff. They're on episode 700. They've been running for quite a long time now, 9+ years. So lots of cool stuff on that. So if you had missed that, check them out. This Week in Radio Tech. With that, we'll throw it over to Ed, AE0YR. The net is yours.
Good evening, everyone. I got a question on this. I talked a bit in the past few learning nets about a wire antenna. I put up a par ends, end-fed half wave, 10 through 40 at 64 feet long between a couple of trees here on my property, 27 feet up. And when I was picking that antenna, I knew that the next one up that included the 80-meter band was 10 feet longer. It was 74 feet long, which at the time I did not think would fit. But now that I have the 64-footer up, I think I might have been able to fit the 74-footer. So my question is the utility of the 80-meter band. How much merit is there to me considering pulling that 10 through 40 down and throwing up the 74-footer that would gain me the 80-meter band? I've never been on the 80-meter band. Is that worth considering?
Dick has a comment.
Good question there about the step up in antenna for supporting the 80-meter band there as well. And it sounds like Dick maybe had some follow-up. Dick, N6 WHV, go right ahead.
Howdy. It generally does not see much in the way of DX. It's kind of a local band. A lot of folks with AM radios tend to hang out there, maybe in the upper portion of the phone band. Not great for FT8. I have an antenna for it, but I don't use it. So that's one person's opinion. N6WHV.
All right, thanks for the follow-up there. N6WHV, 3.5 megahertz to 4 megahertz there, depending on what you're doing there. So 80 meters, yeah, I'm not too sure. Anyone else on the popularity or activities going on 80 meters, and would it be worthwhile getting equipment for it?
Alpha Bravo.
Alpha Bravo, go ahead.
Yeah, I kind of agree with the N6WHV there. I have a HV2 butternut that I use for CW, and I belong to that SKCC, and I play on 80 meters on CW. And there's not a lot out there, but there is some. It just depends on if a guy wants to experiment with it. There is a Colorado Columbine net on 3.989, and then there is a statewide Aries net on 3.810, and there's a Colorado Races net on 3.990.5. And with the antenna that you have now, you could probably turn to those frequencies and monitor these nets and see if you would like to participate in any of that stuff. But if you want to experiment with it, Edgar, go for it. But it's up to you. Just my thoughts. This is Kilo Echo Zero Alpha Bravo. Back to net.
All right, gotcha. Thank you so much for the follow-up on that. Absolutely. Looking at our net list and some other net lists in the from other groups as well. It looks like you mentioned the Colorado Columbine net and statewide Aries and one or two others there. So thanks for the follow-up on that. Yeah, and as we always say, if we don't use it, we could potentially lose it. So yeah, even if just for that, to try some experimentation. Yeah, I'm not too sure what propagation looks like on that band, day or night. But anyone else on that, or Ed, go right ahead.
W0TX repeater.
Thanks, everyone. I had seen a comment on a blog to the effect that the 80 meter wasn't used much, but I wasn't sure. And it would be a couple $100 to go buy that par ends 10 through 80, so I can put it on my list for an eventual, just to get access to that band. I have had great success with this 10 through 40, though. I've had contacts all the way to southern Argentina and now Moscow, Russia, of all things, on the 20 meter band with the 10 through 40. So I'm having a ball with it. It's fun. I was just curious if I would have at first gone for the longer antenna if I realized it would have fit. I put up a piece of paracord between the two trees and I measured it, and I think I just, I played it safe with the wire that I knew would fit. And I think by just a little bit I could have fit the longer one. So maybe I'll put on my list for eventually, one of those shack upgrades for someday. But thanks, everyone. AE0YR.
All right, sounds good. This is K1 DBC Net Control. I was just looking at some of the specs there on the two different antennas there. Looks like it's 66, for at least for the radiator wire length maybe, it's 66 feet. And for the one you have now, and then the one that supports 80 meters, looks like it's maybe just around 71 feet or so. But very good. This is K1 DVC Net Control. Anyone else on that? Please go on.
For Bravo.
Yeah, Alpha Bravo. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question. Ed, does it say anything about you being able to use that 80 meter on 60 meters? Because that, if you could use it on 60 meters also, that would get you exploring into a new territory of the 60 meter band also. I find that kind of interesting, and I work some CW on that also. And that's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of different propagation in between the 80 and 40 there. So I don't know if you could use that on 60. I imagine you could probably tune it. I don't know, but that would be something to look at also. Anyway, this is Kilo Echo Zero Alpha Bravo. Back to net.
Looks like Daron has it up on the YouTube channel for those that are watching. It's not mentioning 60, but with the tuner you might be able to pull that in. A0YR.
Are there traps on these wires, or is it just long wires?
It's just a long wire. It's my first go at HF, and it's just, I mean, I don't have a lot of experience, but it sure seems like it's worked well for me.
Well, if it doesn't have any traps on it or anything like that, you probably would be able to tune in 60 meters also. But just food for thought there, Ed. This is Kilo Echo Zero Alpha Bravo, back to net.
All right, this is K1 DVC Net Control. I guess let that be our something that you mentioned there, Alpha Bravo. I had not heard before. HF trap antennas. I'd never heard of that term before. But it looks like a popular way of multibanding antennas is to install parallel tuned circuits or traps. One technique is to resonate each trap in the middle of the ham band, while the other is to resonate traps between the bands. So not heard of that before, but thanks for bringing that up.
This Kilo Echo Zero Alpha Bravo. I'm not sure, but sometimes when these wires like that or dipoles or whatever are trapped like that, sometimes you can't, if they're just designated for those bands. And so, like, if it was trapped for 40 and 80 and whatever, and it wasn't trapped for 60, it might not work, or it might, damage something. But if it's just a long wire, I think you would be able to, like I said, tune in with your tuner manually, or however you tune your radio there. But if it has traps, you got to kind of watch it. But that's just things I've seen. So this is Kilo Echo Zero Alpha Bravo, back to net.
All right, sounds good. Yep, looks like it is just bare wire there. So, perfect. Okay. Well, anyone else on that? It is just ticked over to 7:50 or so, just about. We have another half hour, 45 minutes or so. I can take check-ins here in a few minutes, but anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else so far for this evening's Learning Net? Please call in. All right, this is K1 DVC Net Control. I'm just bringing up some things that we can maybe talk about later if nothing comes up here. But comments, questions, check-ins, anything else so far for this evening's Learning Net? Please call in.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Quebec Victor Mike, just checking in, no traffic.
All right, QVM, KF0, QVM. Paul, got you checked in. Great to hear you.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Papa Charlie Whiskey, checking in, no traffic.
All right, in that time we had Doug, KF0, PCW. Thank you so much for checking in. I guess I will take this opportunity to take official check-ins. If you're just tuning in, this is the Denver Radio Club Learning Net, right place to learn about ham radio and STEM topics. If you'd like to check in, we're taking all call suffixes, all call signs. Let us know your call sign, your name, and if you have any traffic questions, please call now.
K9BYU, Russell and Highlands Ranch. No questions right now.
All right, Russell, K9BYU, got you checked in. Thank you so much for checking in here. One more call if you'd like to check in. I had my voice break there. To the Denver Radio Club Learning Net. We're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. Please call now. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. We have another half hour or so, 45 minutes. We usually go until about 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time. I can certainly bring up some club things or some other stories or anything like that, but anyone else at the moment, comments, questions, check-ins, anything else, please call now.
W0TX repeater.
Comment A0YR.
Sorry, I just noticed the YouTube chat. I have not been watching that here. This is K1 DBC Net Control. I'll get back to you here, Ed, here in a minute. Sorry, I did not pay attention to the YouTube chat here for a while, but I want to thank KE0TSF for checking in, and N4NYX. Thank you so much for checking in. Old friend of ours, Sarah. I will get you all checked in here. Really do appreciate that. She was mentioning about lots of ARL statewide nets and national traffic system on 80 meters for NVIS properties. So really do appreciate that. So thank you so much for checking in. I'll watch the YouTube chat here some more. So with that, this is K1 DBC Net Control. We'll throw it over to Ed, AE0YR. Go ahead.
I just put a link in the chat on the YouTube. There was a study released on Friday, and I'll just read the title of it. The effect of exposure to radio frequency fields on cancer risk in the general and working population. It was published in Environment International Journal, and I'll just paraphrase from the title of it. Broadcasting antennas or base stations likely does not increase the likelihood of childhood cancer, and the reason that they zeroed in on childhood cancer was there just wasn't enough research yet on adult studies. But it got a little bit of attention in the press, and I thought of this group, so I brought it along just to share with everyone the links in the window there. AE0YR.
All right, excellent. Really do appreciate that. Yeah, I'm not too sure which YouTube chat you're pasting stuff into, but I am not seeing that. When you've mentioned that in the past, I did get your email though, so I have the story brought up here. But let me see if I can find that. But really do appreciate that. Recent study effect of exposure to RF fields on cancer risk in the general and working population. Systematic review of human observational studies, and as you mentioned, likely does not increase the risk of childhood cancer or risk of brain cancer, as with holding our cell phones close to our skull. Really do appreciate that. Very cool. All right, sorry, give me a second here. My neighbor's dog's going nuts here. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else on that? Really appreciate that. I can certainly read out a little bit more on that. But anyone else, please call there. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I guess this kind of addresses any of the kind of conspiracy theories around maybe cell phone towers as well, and 5G towers and putting them up, and people can take their tinfoil hats off, if you will, because we've been exposed to RF for years and years and years and years, and they've had lots of time to do these long-term research studies. So it's here to stay, and RF is engineers and everyone's trying to do as much as they can to make sure that it doesn't cause any risks or issues. So this is K1 DBC Net Control. Anyone else on that? Please call in. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Really do appreciate that. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Yeah, absolutely. And this is on ScienceDirect.com. Looks like it was shared here just within the last few days, I think, as mentioned. So lots of really heady white paper and research study here. So lots of good information to look at. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins? Please call now. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else? Otherwise, I can bring up a few things and we'll throw it back to that. But anyone else? Please call in. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I want to thank Dick and so that's I don't use your call sign enough, Dick, so I apologize. N6WHV. And last month's drop for a moment. Meeting presenter is what I was trying to think of. Meeting presenter. If you didn't check out last month's meeting, again, youtube.com/Denver Radio Club. We do archive our nets and streaming things on there. So we had a really cool presentation by Fred, W6BSD, on HF antennas. And he has a pretty cool website that you can go and check his stuff out. Pretty good with just kind of graphs and putting things together. So he has put together for us as well field day kind of stats. I don't think this includes voice. I think this is only digital only, but it's just a nice graph of our field day stats. So top 12 states worked. FT8 versus FT4. Yeah, it is just digital. FT8 and FT4. What modes and bands worked, and then density, distance, and azimuth. And a really nice little map here. So w0tx.org/field day. We do appreciate them getting that to us. I guess I can bring up our official results if I can try to do that here quickly. field-day.arrl.org public website you can go to. And let's see if I can find ours here. But give me a moment. I guess they have not maybe published the results yet. Or maybe it is in the QST magazine. But I think we maybe did discuss it, but I was trying to find it. I could not find it here easily. But more information we'll try to put up on our website as well.
Good evening. The time is 8 p.m.
All right. It is 8 p.m. As our repeater just mentioned. This is K1 DBC Net Control. We have another half hour. We're taking all comments, questions, check-ins. If you have anything for us, please come on. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I'm trying to see if digital versions of the QST magazine recently addressed field day results. But comments, questions, check-ins, anything else so far for this evening's Learning Net? Please call now.
Question, KM4 CFT.
Jonathan, KM4 CFT, the net is yours.
This is a little unrelated to anything on the Learning Net, but you notice that this repeater has been having an issue with IDing itself? It's supposed to say W0TX repeater, but it only says like W0 and sometimes W0T, but doesn't seem to complete the call sign. Is something wrong with the repeater, or are we aware of that?
We have heard that, actually. We've only heard it from one other person, though. Do you monitor it on 145 or on 448?
W0TX repeater.
I'm monitoring on 145, and actually just ID'd and it just said W0T and then cut off. So yeah, the 2-meter section seems to be having an issue. I don't know about the 70 centimeter version.
I'm not sure if it's radio related, but I heard the exact same ident and I heard the full call sign. If you do check into our YouTube and just scroll back 30 seconds or so, you can hear that. So I'm not sure what's going on there and how it's specific people are getting that cut off, but we've heard that exact same complaint before.
Well, it might be my new radio, but the thing is that one I'm using right now is an FTM 200, but my FTM 400 in the car has been giving me the same issue, and I recall like 2 weeks ago, it wasn't that I didn't have that issue. It was giving the full call sign, so it feels like it was something that's happened in the last week or two.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I was going to see if I can go play that video back here real quick. Give me a second.
So it feels like it was something that's...
We've heard that. You do check into our YouTube.
Yeah, the 2-meter section seems to be having an issue. I don't know about the 70 centimeter version.
I'm not sure if it's right.
Complete the call.
Not quickly enough. Let me see if I can find that here in a minute. But I think, I'm not too sure. But that is kind of odd. We have heard that exact same complaint, and there is something odd going there. So we'll try to investigate that a little bit more. But thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, appreciate that. Anyone else on that? Has it been cut off? The ident been cut off? Do you hear just W0T, or do you hear the full call sign, or anyone on that? Go ahead.
KS0QVM.
Yeah, QVM. Paul, go ahead.
Yeah, the entire time that I have been aware of this repeater, which is the last, 2 or 3 months, it has always cut off. And I just assumed that it was transmitting with a different tone or something that cut off the squelch on my handheld, but I have no idea.
That is odd to hear. Okay, so another follow-up on that. Appreciate that. So yeah, it's nothing special. We have just the receive frequency 14549. The transmit is 144.89. If you set it by offset, it's a negative 600 kilohertz offset. And then we just have the transmit tone of 100 PL required for transmit, nothing for receive. So I think we all have kind of the same programming in our radios. So I'm not sure why some of us are hearing different things, but we will bring this up to our tech committee, who has historically taken care of our repeaters. It's been taken a little bit of a backseat to our website and other things here recently, but we can see what we can try to check into that on. So thank you all for the follow-up. Anyone else on that? Go ahead.
Hotel Victor.
UVM again.
All right, a few people. We had Sarah online asking if T-SQL, TSQL is enabled on the receiver, if the repeater transmits with a tone and receiver is set to only open when hearing tone, and if the repeater omits the tone for the ID, it may cut out on receive. Okay, I will have to bring that up to other people who may know that much better than I do. And then we had Dick and I think it was Paul. So N6WHV, go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Jerome. I was just going to say the same thing, that I've been listening to the repeater for a month or two, and I've never heard it misspeak, but I do not have a received tone squelch on. I'm just using conventional carrier squelch for receiving.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I think I may have, not sure where that question or where that was. Who needs to check that? Yeah, I don't know if on people's ends, if you are having that issue, if you do have a T-SQL option, maybe check on your end and toggle it one way or the other and see if it makes a difference. I'm not sure if on our repeater we also need to check something as well. So we'll handle it from all ends. And then we also had QVM. Paul, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think pretty much, I'm not looking at the YouTube chat, but I think pretty much the same thing as what you relayed. It sounds like it is maybe just omitting its output tone when it's IDing, because I do use tone squelch and it cuts off, but it sounds like people who are not using that are not experiencing the issue.
That might be it. So I guess for anyone who has been hearing the ident, only half of it, maybe check to see if you have an option for tone SQL TSQL and turn it off, it sounds like, potentially, for this repeater specifically. So give that a shot. If anybody has any follow-up on that, either tonight or next week or on Sunday night's net, we can address it then. But anyone else, go right ahead. All right, this is K1 and DBC Net Control. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else? I can certainly bring up a few things, but anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, please call in. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else so far for this evening's Learning Net? We have another 20 minutes. Please call in.
KS0QVM, I've got a different topic if we're ready to move on.
Absolutely, not a problem. QVM, the net is yours.
Yeah, I started listening to this net a little bit late, so apologies if this is pretty much the same as the first thing that was brought up. But I heard we were talking a little bit about the long wire antennas, and I have been experimenting with just random wire and long wire antennas. And a question that I have is whether or not there is a difference in how well your signal transmits when you tune a random wire so that it has a good SWR, but the wire itself is not great by itself, versus when the wire is cut to the exact length and doesn't need to be tuned by the ATU.
Great question. What is the performance of an antenna that needs to be tuned versus an antenna that does not need to be tuned? I don't know. So great question. Anybody on that? Go ahead.
W0TX repeater.
Oh, actually, one other comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
I will just note I turned off tone squelch to just tone, and I just heard the full ID of the repeater for the first time ever.
Excellent. Well, there we go. Thank you, Sarah, and for NYX in the chat there. May have picked up on something. Really do appreciate that, and others who may have mentioned that as well. So, yeah, sounds like a good confirmation on that. So, appreciate that. So, great question. Brain is fried. Antenna performance. An antenna out of the box where it does not need to be tuned, rather, and comparing that to an antenna that does need to be tuned. Any difference in performance? Anybody have any follow-up on that? Go ahead.
Well, my question is, are you dealing then with a random wire setup versus a tuned antenna? And are you using this as an NFED? KE0SUM.
Well, I guess just sort of in general. The one that I'm using right now is an NFED half wave, but I don't know. I guess my question is for any of them, and I guess a better way to state my question, because I was pretty long-winded, is when you use an antenna tuner, can the antenna tuner bring an antenna to the same level of efficiency as an antenna that is just already resonant at the right frequency?
The answer is it tunes it, but it's tricking the radio into thinking you have a great SWR, so it won't hurt the radio. But you're not going to transmit as well because you're going to have a higher standing wave ratio than a resonant antenna. The truly resonant antennas, I don't even use a tuner at all. So, yeah, you're going to get out better because the radio is able to transmit more power.
Okay, yeah, that's sort of what I figured, but I was seeing conflicting things online, so I was curious. But that makes sense, and thank you for your input. KF0QVM, back to net.
Excellent. Sounds good there, QVM and Jonathan, SUM for the follow-up on there. Yeah, it looks like with the right terminology, I think we can come to some pretty good conclusions here. But it looks on KB6 NU's website, does a resident antenna work better than a non-resident? Several replies from a retired electrical engineer with aerospace and biomedical experience. Yes, a resident antenna properly matched to the transmitter or receiver will work better than a non-resident. Any antenna discussion must include the frequency or frequency band. Reply 2 from a different background, a physicist, electrical engineer, musician. No, it may be easier to match a feed line to it, but once a current distribution is achieved on it, it radiates just as well. So those are just some quick answers. I'm sure there's quite a lot more to it, but really do appreciate everyone's follow-up on that. Anyone else on that? Go ahead.
With that, also applied to say like an Edsong type dipole antenna, K7 pop up. Thank you.
Sorry, this is K1DBC Necatrol. I didn't catch who was calling in there, but you were mentioning about Edfong's J-pole antenna. I'm not too sure what you were mentioning on that. I maybe there's something. If you have any follow-up on that, go ahead.
Sorry, Drone, I doubled with you. I was just asking if you're using the Edfong, now we're moving to VHF, UHF, correct?
I just use it as a general purpose for what I'm doing inside my home on an HT. I have other antennas on other things, but that works great for me on the upper level of my house. So I kind of wanted the same question.
Okay. Resident versus non-resident, tuned versus non-tuned. Okay, interesting. Okay. really appreciate the follow-up on that. And if Jonathan, if you have anything else or anyone else, go right ahead. Okay, this is K1 DVC Net Control. I guess to follow up a little bit on there, essentially a J-pole is a half-wave resonant antenna connected to a quarter-wave matching stub. The feed line is connected at a point on the matching stub that is at the feed line's characteristic impedance. So maybe that answers a little bit more a question or helps out a little bit more on that. But really do appreciate the follow-up on that. Anyone else, comments, questions, check-ins, please come there. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. A couple of comments in the YouTube chat here. Again, Sarah mentioned, and as others mentioned, it may have only be affecting either the VHF or UHF. Let's see, and then just Pete AB8WN mentioned he turned off T-Sequel, and he only, he did the same thing on 14549 with turning on the tone squelch and only heard W when it was IDing, but heard the whole thing when the received tone squelch was off. So appreciate you following up on there as well. So for people who have had that issue in the past, we now have a good solution. So and then we had Micah MTL checking in as well. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. It is 8:17. We have another 13 minutes or so. Comments, questions, check-ins. I can certainly bring up a few things, but anyone else, comments, questions, check-ins, anything else for this evening's Learning Net? Please call in.
Comments, KM4CFT.
Yeah, Jonathan, CFT. Go ahead.
Yeah, I actually, while we were listening, I grabbed my FT818 and walked out onto the balcony and listened, and I was able to hear the full repeater ID. The thing is, I'm not actually sure how I would set up my FTM200 to have it so that I'm sending a PL tone but not receiving a PL tone. I don't see how to do that because the only option I'm seeing is tone squelch and nothing really else. KS0QVM.
All right, I think you mentioned FTM 400. I'm going to try to find that out in the manual here, but I think someone else was trying to follow up on that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't have the 200 or the 400, but on my 300 there is a setting, I forget exactly what it's called. It's like extended squelch modes or something like that, and if you enable that, then it gives you the option to only transmit a tone and not look for one on receive. I'm guessing that that's built into, like that's one in the deeper menu type thing. Yeah, I don't remember the exact name of it. I'll look in my manual and see if I can find it for you. It might be different, though, on the 300. Alright, I'm going to actually scroll through the menus and see if I find something, but I didn't think they would be buried. I thought it would have been, like, one of the options, but Yaesu's weird like that. They'll just have random things that just don't make sense.
Now that we're looking at that, this is kind of bringing up a memory of looking at something like this about a year ago. Maybe someone had similar menu, similar issue, and I think with that radio as well. This is K1 DBC Net Control.
W0TX repeater.
Looking at the menu here, there is a SQ type option. Don't know exactly where that is. Or there's an SQ type function, and you can change tone squelch, I think, in there, if that at all makes sense.
I think I just stepped on you, but I've got a comment. QVM again.
Sorry about that. QVM, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I was doubling with you, so my apologies if you just said this exact thing. But right where you're showing on that document, on the bottom, it says that items in the parentheses are available when Squelch expansion is on, and that's the name of the setting that I had to find. I don't remember where it is, but I remember having to find that.
No problem. This is K1 DVC Net Control. We got there in the end. Option menu number 5, SQL expansion. All right, this is K1 DVC Net Control, so make sure that is turned on, Jonathan, CFT, and or any other person with an FTM 200, 300, or 400, it sounds like. That option might be in there. Turn on SQL expansion, menu number 5, and then you'll have an option for just regular tone. Yeah. All right, thank you so much. And then we had MTL online saying there might be a T-SQL button as well. If you hold it, that may change the setting as well. So this is K1 DVC Net Control. Jonathan or anyone else, any follow-up, go ahead. All right, this is K1 DVC Net Control. The lessons we learn over and over and over sometimes because we forget them and they're buried in these little settings. And some radios, you just don't even have to mess with this. It just gives you the options for what you need right out of the box. So that's a good learning lesson, though. Appreciate everyone. This is K1 DVC Net Control, 822. Any other further comments, questions, check-ins, anything else so far for this evening's Learning Net, please call in. All right, this is K1 DVC Net Control. We have some club business I can pass, but anyone else, comments, questions, check-ins, anything else so far for this evening's Learning Net, please call in. All right, very quickly on club business, not too much. This is K1 DVC Net Control. Well, I say not much, but there's always a lot of stuff going on here. And our website's always, here we go, w0tx.org. Lots of help nowadays. Lots of content being posted on there. We really appreciate everyone who's been able to help out. Pete Sabansky, Mark Thomas, and others who are contributing. Brennan Pate for our roundtable, things like that. So go check out our club website. Lots of new stuff up there. We had our DRC Saturday event this past Saturday. So Mark had a little bit of a write-up here on that. So there was a focused on Colorado QSO party. They had plenty of people attended. Event was well attended. It was good timing to have eyeball QSO. Haven't seen in a while, so there was food there as well. Great weather and really cool stuff there. So I think they emailed out the results. Let me see if I can bring that up here. Yes, I don't know if we've posted it yet, but total contacts, 70 contacts, 77 QSO points, multiplier of 31, total score of 2387. So really awesome stuff. Really, again, appreciate Mark and Alex Acera for helping out on that, putting that event together. So it sounded like that went pretty well. So anyone on that, please call in. All right, w0tx.org on events at the top. And we have DRC Saturday. Our next one will be October 5th. It will be a camp out at the Winnegar Ridge camping area. Saturday and Sunday two-day event, planning on registering a rest campground on the north shore of Gross Reservoir in Boulder County. Roads are not improved and lots of rocks and hills, but not considered a four-wheel drive only. You won't get your pusher motor home up there, but basic camper with truck should be fine. Campground spots are first come, first serve. So people that are not camping out can come up for the day and play radio. So more information as that date approaches. Again, October 5th. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. We are extremely happy. Great weight lifted. We recently rolled out our new membership process for all of our members. So our membership, it's basically just a payment process. We've created accounts for everybody. You log in with your username, which is your email address, and you can reset your password. You just go to login and profile, and if you don't know your password, there's a lost password option there. But information was sent out to the membership in a form of a MailChimp email yesterday, and I can't thank enough Pete and Jay Hurt, N0SR, for helping out with this process. So right now, it's basically just for payment. There is nothing hidden behind this username and password. The only thing we're thinking about doing maybe in the future is a remote HF station. But everything publicly available now will always still be available without a password. So we can't thank everyone enough for helping out. And we see people going through that form and signing up and paying. So we really do appreciate everyone's patience with that. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I think that's all that I had at the moment for Club Business. So we have another 4 minutes. Anybody else? Comments, questions, check-ins? Anyone else? Please call now.
AB8WN.
Oh, yes, there was another change. An AB8WN. Go right ahead.
Well, we're right at the end, and I just wanted to actually get a signal report as I just put up a new antenna. I made a copper J-pole, or copper pipe J-poles, and put it up a little bit so see how I'm hitting the repeater for the net. And just need a signal report, please. AB8WN.
5x9, you're coming in just fine. Loud and clear.
Oh, that's good, because I've been scratchy every other time, so thank you, Drone. Appreciate it. AB8WN clear.
Not a problem, AB8WN. I was wondering if you wanted to give any other follow-up, but I wanted to thank your partner for stepping up and helping out with to be our club membership chairperson. It's really awesome to see new blood, and can't thank her enough. So let me try to bring up her call sign and more info. But if you have anything on that, or if she's around, go right ahead.
This is AB8WN. Yep, it's Kilo Bravo 8, Oscar Golf Papa, Kelly. And she's going to be doing the member stuff. She just met with Kathy today, and like that, I think the couple of us, she wants to meet with us and chat about some stuff, but she's going to send out an email and get that set up for the couple of tech people that have been doing some of the membership stuff. So look forward to that. But other than that, nothing else to say on that. This is AB8WN. Back to net.
Excellent. Sounds good. Thanks again to Kelly Sabansky, KB8OGP. Really do appreciate that. And yeah, we'll have more information as it rolls out, but nothing should change really for our members. You all, it should be kind of day in and day out kind of regular activities, and we'll take care of everything behind the scenes. So can't thank her enough. So this is K1 DBC Net Control. Let's see. I do have one other thing on club business.
W0TX repeater.
We have our club officer elections coming up this month, September meeting, September the 18th, so just before the meeting. Some other new blood, and I really do apologize. I think Pete might be interested potentially in becoming a board member, and I think Alex potentially. Hopefully, I'm not outing anyone, but just in potential there. But we really appreciate potential new blood. So if you would like to participate in that as a voter, just attend our club meeting at 7 p.m. More information on our front page here for the meeting. So w0tx.org/meet, and we'll send out a probably a Google form or something that you can select who you'd like to elect and nominate. So really do appreciate lots of changes here. This is K1 DBC Net Control. I guess with that, our presentation is going to be presented by Riley Hollingsworth, K4ZDH. They retired from the FCC in 2008. They were the FCC's enforcement program in the amateur radio service. So really cool stuff there. I'm sure a lot of good stories. So they'll give some pretty good history of their history and what they've seen. So really cool stuff. This is K1 DBC Net Control. We've just ticked over just about to 8:31 p.m. So not a hard stop, but anyone else last minute comments, questions, check-ins, please call now.
AB8WN.
Yeah, Pete, AB8WN, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say we have a post up for the presenter as well. And when I was putting that post up just for the meeting, I went to the person's QRZ page and lots of information on the person as well. So I'd suggest going and checking out their QRZ page and just taking a look too, as it's pretty cool. AB8WN, back to net.
Excellent, very cool. QRZ.com/DB/K4ZDH. Let me see, do you need that DB in there? You do, unfortunately, yep. So K4ZDH, check out his QRZ page. Very cool. And thanks again, Pete, for putting that post up on our front page. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Plenty of opportunities to volunteer, plenty of options out there. If you'd like to be a part of content creation, putting up posts and stories on our page, that is an option. If you would like to help out with our social media, that's an option. There's lots of options for volunteering, so don't be shy and let us know. This is K1 DBC Net Control. This will be the last call for any comments, questions, check-ins. Please call now. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. All right, with that, we'll start to wrap the net up here. Appreciate and thank our club for allowing us to use their repeaters for this net. We appreciate you all for checking in. We had a total of 17 check-ins this evening. So thank you all for checking in here. Lots of activity on our YouTube. Really do appreciate that. Sorry if I haven't watched it all, but we had a lot of troubleshooting and got some things done. So now we know why some people heard idents and some people didn't. So we can share that information going forward with T-SQL. So this is K1 DBC Net Control. Again, youtube.com/Denver Radio Club to watch this net and past nets and meetings. With that, again, w0tx.org. Our next meeting, again, as we mentioned, will be it's the third Wednesday of the month. I just had it up on the screen and September 18th, as we just discussed. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Again, with that, thank you everyone for checking in. I don't think I have anything else. So with that, 7-3, and I will be clear. Everyone have a good evening.